Shoot. Gotta keep going. Come on. Alright. Oh, okay. Sorry. I know we're late. Welcome back to SBS Live this week. We are here once again with Nixie. We are back for part 2 of the interview to wrap this up proper style. I've had nothing but a fantastic time in this entire interview, and meeting Nixie, listening to their music, wearing the shirt. Everything about them is just fantastic, and I can't express enough how much we enjoy their music and have enjoyed their time. So once again, thank you very much to you all for coming by the SBS HQ. As far as Nixie goes, we know it's not the last we've heard of them by a long shot. As far as a follow-up interview to what you've seen here today and what you've seen here on part 1, we've already got stuff in plans and in the works, so we want to know what's up with Nixie down the road just as much as we know that you do. So we will be in touch, and we'll make sure that you know what's going on. Keep up on the latest on Nixie and all the other bands coming through SBS right here on SBS Live this week.
That I could say I've changed, but you can't see that I'm the same. You hold your breath and count to.
But what are the end goals for Nixie in general? I mean, Carrie, you do the booking for Nixie now.
Yeah.
Is there...
I don't know.
Are you looking for management, or like how does that work, or can you function independently?
I think what have we talked about? We definitely want to tour, do some more touring. Hopefully this summer. I think big for me would be laying down some of our new tracks, recording again, maybe an EP. Yeah, I mean, if we could work with a promotional company, we're totally open to that.
We're open. We're
a
not
lot of
searching.
doors, right?
We're not searching, but that's what we hope for.
It's not like you're blocking anything off
No.
that way. Yeah, like it's you know, kind of first ones through the door. It might have a real general, or a good crack at helping you guys really break through to that next level.
That's
right?
what we're kind of hoping for.
Yeah. We also know there's a lot of people in Vancouver that are just wanting to capitalize on stuff like that, and so
very much so.
The return isn't as great as what you're giving.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times you end up trading that creative freedom for that help, right?
Yeah. Which is so
and that's something that we don't.
We don't make these contests like Peak Performance Project and Fox Rocks because we don't fit in to what they are trying to sell.
We really don't.
We don't fit in anywhere.
There isn't
really.
a place to house Nixie's music right now. I completely agree with
I think we scare labels perhaps maybe a little. They don't know what's going to happen next kind of thing.
But that in turn, over time, that established kind of notoriety for not knowing what Nixie's capable of or what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that, again, in my opinion, is bringing people to me and asking me over this last several months, like, what is up with Nixie? Do we get to find out about Nixie? Have you heard anything new from Nixie? And I do want to comment on that right away, just really quickly here, but I got to say, we haven't heard anything from you post-podcast. I loved that. I know I'm strange, but that for me was awesome. I really enjoy that kind of mysticism.
I was going to say something about that too. Yeah. I know we don't do it necessarily all that intentionally. I think that's really what we're like. Yeah. But I was talking to my brother's really into the music scene. He's pretty hip. He lived in Toronto for a year. He told me about this DJ who started up in Toronto, and he started doing underground shows, He would play late in the night after a bunch of other DJs and stuff. He had nothing for sale. He would never let anybody contact him. Right. He had no SoundCloud. He had no Facebook.
Really?
He had nothing. And he would just play and play and play. And he played for like a year.
Right.
And people started being like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Who is this guy? How do I get his shit? How do I get his music?
Yeah.
Like, how do we know him? How do we know him? And because he was like nothing, by the time it was like this buzz was just like, whoa. And he was like, bam, like some big rapper guy was like, you're cool, man. Yeah. He picked him up like that, bam, world tour, just like from nothing, like to that. Because like nowadays, like I think it's almost a detriment to be like, okay, hey, help
Twitter
me, you know.
status every single 5 minutes.
It's like that wash, you know. There's there's a line you gotta toe. There's a line you gotta toe.
Yeah, there are certain places that saturation
like a viral social presence is huge. That's the only way that music can really like spread.
Grow, yeah.
Right.
And it's so hard for us to do it.
You know,
we're not really. Well,
again,
some of us.
I work online for 9 hours a day. The last thing I want to do is like go home and tweet.
It does again come down to that time factor. Like as independent artists, you know, I've had this conversation numerous times. If you work at a regular job and you come home, even though you have that free time, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm bagged and exhausted. I don't want to do anything else. You know what I mean?
Or we like go to the basement and jam, or like
and you let that
food
day
together,
out, right?
or like
Absolutely.
do that sort of thing. I don't know.
How strong is the core of this band?
I think it's really strong.
We're all best friends. We've all been best friends. Like
we've been living in the same house for a year and a half, and nobody has died. So
impressive.
I think
that's pretty good.
I personally think we've had rebirth, like a couple rebirths in our relationships.
Right.
Yeah. Like we've gone through a bunch of times, which I think would have broken up a lot of bands.
Okay. So
and
what?
We managed to get through them.
Yeah, but what was it about you guys and the bond personally, I guess, between you that keeps you together through those moments? Like, are there secrets, or is it all on the table for?
We all grew up together, and we're all learning together and growing from each other.
And we're open to each other, and we respect each other a hell of a lot.
Yeah, regardless.
Okay.
Yeah.
So aside from being in a band, like how deep does this go? How long have you known each other?
Me and Sean are just breached 20 years.
20 years
of friendship.
Wow. Okay. All right.
And I met these two in 2005, and we were in a band before that. And then we met Brahmin in
January 2007.
Yeah. 2007.
Okay. So like
it's been 5. I've been with them for
5-6 years kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you get to know somebody pretty damn well after that amount of time.
Especially after you go on tour.
Yeah.
And you spend like 3 days a week at least with each other.
Right.
Like.
Do you consider that over time? Like, do you consider that, like, you know, somebody like, I don't know, the Rolling Stones is an example of longevity kind of thing. Did they start out their careers going, I'm going to spend every day with these people? Have you thought about how, 40 years down the road, are you still getting along? Is there knives in the house now?
If we're all still alive, then...
I think we'll be fine. I definitely don't think we'll ever turn out like Metallica. I think we'll be all good.
That's like the best thing we've ever recorded. You heard that back there, right? That's I want to put that quote in gold. Tell me about vocals, Shauna. Tell me about something like, we'll use Countdown again as a frame of reference because I'm familiar with that one very much. But like, let's say when you hit those kind of higher parts and maybe words become more of an instrument, is that a fair thing to say? Because there's some things in there that I can see people might struggle to hear word for word, but is that important?
No. Not necessarily at all.
Right.
This is a funny story. Okay, so in our song Stars, she says when you look into all your favorite mirrors, and for the longest time,
like about 2 years,
like 2 or 3 years, until we recorded, I thought she said meals. instead of mirrors. Because when she sings it, she says it so fast, and so I'm like, when you look into all your favorite meals, okay, awesome.
That alters the meaning slightly,
Yeah.
Staring into your peas.
Yeah.
Having a good time.
I mean, if it's alphabets, you could probably do something so profound, though, right? But in all seriousness, though.
Well, a lot of my favorite singers and like inspiration, they all their vocals almost emulate an instrument that they might be using as well.
Right.
And I like to do that. I like to almost reflect notes that Brahman could be playing.
Mm-hmm. We do that a lot, actually. We play melody and she like sings with it.
Right. It's strong stuff when those moments are
it.
happening. I mean, I'm not a person that needs to know what those words are, because I do believe in that kind of stuff. And you know, you've referenced Tool. I think that's another great example of that.
That's actually, yeah, that's huge for Shauna, is because lots of the times playing live shows, the sound quality is not there. The room you're in doesn't sound good. People aren't going to be able to tell exactly what you're saying anyways. And she can carry a melody and still hook people with it. I never thought
about it that way, but that's a great way
without them being able to decipher exactly what she's saying. Because we've heard that before. They're like, oh, well, I couldn't really get the words, but it was awesome.
When it comes to, I guess, Brahman, electronically, like, where are you getting these influences from? Like, how are you doing what you do?
Ooh, the 80s.
Yeah, bring it.
Well, I'll do a little tie-in from what we were just talking about. I want to mention one of our personal favorites. I know I can say for everybody, Sigur Rós.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Icelandic.
That's a shared thing here through.
They don't sing in any language.
Right.
It's a made-up language.
It's a made-up language. Yeah. I think Shauna does that sometimes. I love it.
I do that.
That's fair to say?
She sings in French and she doesn't know French, stuff like that.
I do whatever I feel would have an impact, I guess. Because definitely, like, tones and melodies can influence the energy within somebody's body.
Right.
Everything's vibrating, and the vibrations that I can send out through my voice sometimes will send chills down someone's back. I've heard many times, and just that to me is super important.
I mean, words came second, right? At the end of the day, those things came first. So really, it's those things that tend to get in the way sometimes. It's the words, when really the communication is what you need.
Sorry, I redirected.
That's okay. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll try to answer that. With like Shauna's singing, we tend to echo each other without really meaning to. So directly, she's an influence.
Do you have a lot of...
For like a microcosmic influence.
Right. Do you have, is it you starting the songs a lot of the time, though, or is it...
Sometimes, yeah, like, actually, I do a lot of the melody. I think if you're gonna say, if I was, like, a part in, like, a classic band, I guess it'd be, like, lead guitar, kind of.
Okay.
Like, I do a lot of the melody, and usually when I write songs, like, I don't know where it comes from. I sit down at the keyboard, and the first thing that comes out is usually a riff. Like, it's really weird, actually. I don't know how it happens.
That's knowing your instrument.
But that happens.
Nothing wrong with that.
That happens pretty much every time we jam. I'm like, first thing I play, bam, and then Sarah will just come busting out of the room and be like, keep playing it.
Right.
Yeah, and that's how it happens. It's just like there, and it's really cool because I've been playing piano for 20 years now, and so being in this band has been amazing. I never thought I would ever be in a band, but like I knew my instrument and stuff, like technically. Yeah. But I've been playing with Nixie for 5 years now, and in the past couple of years, in my own personal experience with playing the synth and the piano, it's been like so cool. Because you know there's like the learning curve, right? And it goes like this. Yeah. And then it starts like going up in the graph. I think I'm starting to get to this point in the graph where it's starting to go faster. Okay. Like I'm starting to understand it in just like a level where I don't need to think about it anymore. Right. Because I'm hearing stuff in my head and playing it without thinking about it at all. And like I'm figuring out just all this really neat stuff.
Kind of through composition.
Yeah, and it's like I'm like almost objectively outside of my own body, and I'm just like, cool. Wow, that's dolphin. That sounds.
I'm trying you imagine what it would be like to be a fly on the wall of Nixie's house, just in general? I think there's probably some really kick-ass conversations that go on,
our
right?
jams sometimes, like, we made up new words for one of our songs that involved, I'd take you to Sport Check Baby, and just, we get really ADHD.
Right.
In jams.
We get very silly.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be outside of the jams too, right? Like, I'm imagining there's just good conversations that are happening all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You guys obviously think about a lot of different things. You know,
think about
really.
a lot.
And in terms of, that's such a good thing to say. Eh? Didn't I phrase that well? But you know, at the end of the day, it's an all-encompassing kind of. You know, you're thinking about not just a lot of things per se, but the connection between them. You know what I mean?
Very much so, yeah.
We're really conscious beings as a whole.
We have really great puns.
Yeah, we're very funny.
Really? That's where Nixie goes? The pun basket?
Yeah, but you know, there's got to be a constant stream of like lightness in life in order to take it seriously, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that we're really good at taking all the dark and being like, oh, and then being like, la.
I mean, you don't know one without the other, right?
Stuff like that.
You know, I take still shots from you. I just want to make sure that you know that. Okay, two-part question. First of all, guitars, are they necessary at all? Second of all, you know, when it comes to, how am I saying this here? Electronic music itself, and the people that argue that, no, this isn't music, it's beeps and clicks or whatever. Is there a soul behind electronic music?
That's such a question.
We have a lot of DJ friends,
Yeah.
friends who are music producers. So to see them create and manipulate and do what they do, that takes just as much, I guess, technical ability. Because I definitely couldn't sit in front of a computer for hours and hours just like creating one sound.
Chopping and editing and
that to
sliding
me
and
boggles my brain. So I think it's a different kind of technicality that you need to be a DJ, and so I can still appreciate and respect that.
Right.
And yeah, I'll go dance to that for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, okay, on the subject of us being, we had this actually a couple weeks ago. We were talking about what kind of music we were, and I think Shauna was like, we're not a rock band. I think we're a rock band. I think we're a band more than electronic. Like, electronic is there, but... I technically
maybe agree with that from my perspective.
Yeah, because we play... I mean, I play 2 electronic instruments. Shauna plays electronic instrument. We got a bass and drums. But I don't, like, manipulate very much at all. Like, a lot of... Like, what I play... I'm playing a piano with an effect on it. Right. And I use the effects to my advantage and change it a lot. But I'm not sitting there, like... putting on beat maps and putting on loop pedals and like and stuff. I'm not like, we barely manipulate our music. Like what you hear is what you get. Right. Like there's nothing pre-recorded. We have nothing pre-recorded that we play on stage, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that the line between electronic music
is whether or not you're pushing that button and just letting it do the work for you.
Well, yeah, well maybe, and I think maybe what they're saying, like the whole like, oh, electronic music just clicks and whirs and all that kind of stuff is like, I don't know if we really fall into that category of criticism.
Right, okay. That's totally fair, yeah.
Even in a sense though, those clicks and whirs are like, when you listen to the sounds of space, it's not a guitar, it's clicks and whirs. And
very true.
Very random.
Most of what I listen to sounds like a broken answering machine. And I'm very proud of that fact. You know, when it comes to like just different textures and sound, again, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
So that element of Nixie in your music is really, I think, it's a staple. And then I notice all of a sudden this absence of guitars, more or less.
We just don't have guitar.
Yeah, but is that all it is? Like,
I think guitar is like a synth, kind of. Personally,
right.
I think it's like a synth.
You're thinking lead part, you know.
Yeah, and have like, all these pedals, and they make all those sounds. Like
when the three of us were in a band before, we had a guitar, and what ended up happening was she left us. We were sad. Found Bronny, And Bronwyn picked up the guitar, and it wasn't that great.
So,
I'm not a guitar
player.
player.
You came in though.
And
You came
so-
in playing a guitar.
They were depressed. They were eating chocolate cake. They were like, "You should jam with me." I'm like, "I'm never gonna be in a band."
Yeah, that's pretty
It's true,
much
we
it.
ate a lot of cakes.
We ate a lot.
I went over and they were watching this like TV show called Avatar: The Last Airbender and eating cake, and I was like, "Who are these people?"
Right.
And we were sad. And then she picked up the guitar, and it just wasn't that good. And we were like, well, do you play anything else? And she's like, well, I play piano. So we happen to have a keyboard. She went on the keyboard, and her fingers just were magic.
Right.
And so it kind of just came out of
But I've seen.
I don't think that,
the
like,
situation.
we don't hate on guitars.
No,
Like,
right,
it's,
yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
beautiful
No,
instrument,
yeah.
and
Jam with
people,
Definitely nothing like that.
people
yeah.
like rock it.
And when-
it's just none of our
I will say, though,
personal preference, I
it's
guess,
nice.
to play.
It's nice that we don't have to pause between each song and have a
Right.
guitar be tuned.
I think again the credibility that you guys have for finding a way to fill a room the way that you have with that sound without guitars. You could find a lot of 3-piece power trios that would argue that there's no way you can fill a room without having a guitar.
Right? Yeah,
Right?
without that wash.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the same when we were Terrasarima and we had a guitar. The music that we could create with that guitar wasn't quite. It just didn't hit the place where we're like, this is it. This is the music. This is what we're going with. It just didn't quite make it. And as soon as that electronic sound element came from 3 synths, we're like, this is it.
I want to
Well,
say
it's-
something.
you played one keyboard.
I played one for a bit, and then I got two, and it was like, oh my god. I
Yeah.
think, honestly, that one of my jobs in the band, like how I see it, is that we'll be playing, and I like to, like, I think that, I don't know exactly how it's called, but you were talking about sonic texture.
Yeah.
And you can hear all the different places what they fill up, and like sometimes the drum and like the bass mix together, and it's like not right, and you can't hear it properly, right? But they have a really good sound together because their kit and the bass are good. And one of my jobs is to be like, that hole's not filled and that hole's not filled. What freaking sound can I play? What octave it can be in? Bam.
And then again, maybe the role of Nixie in general, or quality control here at the end, is to make sure that there's not too many, like, there's still enough
Not
space
too
in that
much.
music.
Exactly,
to-
yeah. It's a fine balance, and that's where a guitar can get really muddly.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we really enjoy simple intensity, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
I find that because it doesn't matter if it's a slow track, it doesn't matter if it's a fast track, there's still an intense element of, yeah, there is, of your music, there's still an intense part. Carrie's been smiling the whole time, and she knows it's true.
I'm just having a great time.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know that this is right, because the music is that good, and are you fans of it yourselves? Like, are you listening to your music?
Every time I listen to it, I love it.
Okay.
And I keep on living different songs.
Right.
Like Electrolux, I just love that song.
Because at the end of the day, I don't think it's a narcissistic thing to admit that you like the music you make. I think, in my opinion, I hope that you would. You know.
I really enjoy our album, but I don't want to release it anymore per se, as it's not a reflection of what we are on stage is who we are, but on the album, it doesn't come across.
Okay.
It really doesn't. Not anymore. Maybe at a couple of years ago, but now.
Well, I think that's just one of our. In general, we have that challenge because exactly how you're talking about filling a room with sound, that doesn't translate necessarily
Right.
When you
across
record
in recordings, right?
Right, right.
So that's
Yeah.
always something I think. As a band, our vendetta with the CD is that it just doesn't sound big enough for us.
Right.
But I think we'll
I think
we'll be challenged with that forever.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you obviously have to be, if that's how you feel, you must be chomping at the bit to get in there and record these new songs,
yeah.
right? Like.
We'd love to be in a perfect space to do it, and just like have the right timing that we can all go again and be together with it.
Right. Right.
And focus on it.
Yeah.
It's super hard to live,
It wouldn't be
to
that.
have real-time jobs and to go do that at the same
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
If we get the time though, we can kill it. Like we have it, you know. Like it's not like we need to write an album. We have it. We just like
You come in
we're like-
prepared, kind of thing.
we're
too.
ready
Yeah.
for it. We can just play it. And for recording the album, we noticed that I think we do better recording live together because we did it chopped up and each of our own parts like separately. And we know that we play a lot better when we're together. So the next time we record our album, we're just gonna play we're gonna have to play together,
like the Doors
every
live.
single one.
I think it's because we're definitely a feel band. Like we feed off of each other, and like the feeling that the song gives. We're not necessarily super technical. So when we get into like you're in this box and you're in this box kind of situation, you don't feel the rest of the music.
Sure, yeah.
When
I'm
you're
trying to explain to our producer, you know, like this speed.
Right, I can see not everybody getting
And
that.
every song like speeds up and slows down, like, and he's like, it changes every time.
Like, stop doing that.
At
We're
one
like,
point, he
no.
was trying to be my click track because I have an aversion to click tracks.
Sure.
So he's standing there with two wooden blocks
is
in
he
the other
really?
room,
Wow.
being like,
Yeah.
But the thing with the funny thing is though, like it's funny because I feel like almost me and Shauna, and we're not the rhythm section. Me and Shauna tend to keep the rhythm a lot, which is really funny. I mean, you keep it, like you get it, and
follow
then
you guys.
and like our rhythm section will follow us.
Right, but that's
And then we'll all just come together.
Freedom, right? As players, you get to have some more fun.
Exactly. Yeah, it's cool, but it's like so backwards. It's in the traditional recording studio time. Like they didn't understand that, right? It's like drums first and then bass, and we're like,
right. No,
well,
but it just
should be
doesn't
the
feel
artist
right.
and what they're comfortable with and how they want to get it done. I mean, that's the way we approach things, at least the way we do things here, because that's the way you guys are going to make the best music.
Yeah.
You know, like at the end of the day, however method that you think is going to be appropriate, whether or not it is the right or the wrong one, be adaptable as a studio and figure out the best way to work with the artist, I think is always the best way to come about it. I think the best work from Nixie is still coming out. That's where I'm at.
sure.
You know, like I love what I've heard, but I also hear it, and you know, to meet you now, realize that you're still incredibly young. You've got a lot of years ahead of you. This is going to be music that's going to be around for a while. I don't want it to stop being made. I in fact want to get into it right now, if I can. So I don't want to leave anything out either, though. So if there's anything at all, I like to give an open floor just to bands at the end and just really give you that opportunity. If there's anything you felt like I missed, I could talk to you guys all night. So in terms of battery power and my crew here and their wake level, I can't tire them out. So I do have to wrap it up at some point. But is there anything that you want to talk to the world about that we forgot?
Nixie's not set out to change anyone, or we're just here as a band to inspire people of all genders
And have fun.
in every way. Have fun, but be aware in this day and age, 2013, so it's time for us to start asking questions and start learning about sustainability and really important issues in our life. And we're not an advocate band or what have you, but we really do want to help to inspire. And there's a collective consciousness out there that's waking up, and we want to be a part of it. We want to be that musical vibration that people can relate to in some way and correlate it to.
It's well said. I mean, it's, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys probably all know this, but it's inspiring to be inspiring. Am I wrong? If you've ever had that moment where you've encouraged somebody to do something a little bit more, or your conversation with them has gone and led them to pick up an instrument again, you know that power. And again, I think that Nixie's choosing to use those powers for good. So I can't thank you enough or just overall for your time here today. I know it was not easy to find us today, but they made it, and that's the bottom line.
It is your handicap, but
and
I come by it honestly.
at the end of the day, we got lots of communication about where you were and kind of the different points of where you were along the way, and you made it here. And,
we keep full circle.
You know, so everybody, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You know, do the traditional handshake. Yeah. You guys are like family. I should really be giving hugs, but you know, I appreciate it.
Hugs.
Thank you so much.
We should give him a
and that audio spike was for you, buddy. We've had in the past exclusive live acts here in the studio. Again, Nixie has done a fantastic job. Love the CD. One thing I want you to know for sure, take a good look at the old track listing there. And now know that we're going to play you a song from Nixie called I Spy that's not on the album. Here on SBS Live this week. Enjoy. So that takes us to another week here at SBS. Again, thank you so much, Nixie. You really have made my month. March has been absolutely fantastic despite the rain, thanks to you guys and your bright, sunshiny personalities coming here into the studio. So know that we do want to hear from you in the future. We definitely want to know what's going on with your music, and especially if you've got a whole album's worth of new stuff to record, we definitely want to know what's going on with you in the future, so that we can hear that new music for ourselves. And again, the entire experience has just been absolutely phenomenal, fantastic, everything from the podcast to meeting you guys for the first time and saying goodbye with the final group hug. So, Nixie, you rock. Once again, from all of us at SBS, thank you so much for being here. In other SBS related news, we've got a busy week coming up here for ourselves with Overdose and The Pit planning to come by and record this week. Very excited to have them both. Great people and great bands, great music, as you know. In addition to that, we've just finished off an interview with West My Friend, which is a band that is nominated for Roots Album of the Year in the Vancouver Island Music Awards, founded of course by our friend James Casper. Fantastic interview with a bunch of great people that we can't wait to show you. So that again is coming out later this year. And as you know, next week we are back once again because we never go away. And we'll have hip-hop artist Low Mega with us here in the studio, showing us some beats, showing us some rhymes, and just giving us some good insight into a genre that we've yet to tackle here at the studio. So very excited to have him pop by. Lots of other great things coming in the works, as you know, for the rest of the year. Lots of things already being sent out through video interviews. SBS has got a lot going on, so make sure to come back next week on SBS Live.
I cannot see any other way out. I can't control.
Is that what you guys want to do? Is there, site
Got
that you...
Bandcamp.
Got Bandcamp?
You can, yeah, stream our album
Okay.
online. Bandcamp.
Well, I think that's something people would want to do for sure. So Bandcamp what?
Bandcamp.Nixie.
You can stream it there, but you can also buy the whole album also on iTunes.
You can buy it through Bandcamp as well.
Okay, there you go.
Download.
There's lots of options.
And there are links to these sites through their Facebook site.
Yeah,
as well.
Facebook, MySpace, Reverb Nation.
Facebook.com/Nixie Mix.
Okay, now I gotta know. Sorry, keep that on for a second. Who's responsible for all the online work?
I was mostly.
Yeah? You were mostly? Or
Well,
you are mostly?
At the end, I stopped
Okay.
a little bit.
Because she's
I got
talking
caught
about
up in
email
life.
correspondence.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, what are we
Just
talking about?
online, like in general, or online
Yeah, like
presence. We kind of share it.
updating the
Oh,
site.
yeah,
We kind of
we
share
share
it,
it,
yeah.
Yeah.
So one of us will post an update or status or whatever.
Well, I think that's good that you
We all got
sharing
passwords.
it,
We all have a
because,
password.
yeah, I run into far too many bands where it's like left to one person and you can see them pretty much visibly decaying at the end of the interview. They're just like, yeah, it's me. You know, I'm on my 8th cup of coffee in the last hour. You know,
Fresh
because-
pods?
Yeah. Yes. We gotta find girl, talk to him, and see if we can put that clip in this video because that's the best reference.